we are going to think about straight lines. Straight lines, we started studying in class 4 or 5. Almost every class we discuss in geometry straight lines. Now you see this is going to be, or this is there in class 11 too. What is new to learn in straight lines? One single answer, that is nothing but the slope of a straight line. This aspect we did not learn so far. We have spoken about parallel lines, coincident lines, intersecting lines, their pair of equations in class 10. So now we will think about slope of a line. What is actually slope? Slope is nothing but the steepness. You will say when you climb a mountain, the steepness, if it is high, we cannot, or we find it difficult to ride a bicycle. The steepness. Can we measure this in mathematics? Yes. You know, everything in and around we will try to measure in maths. That's how maths will try to measure all if possible. There are quantities which may not be measurable so easily, like love, like that and all. But here steepness that we can measure. How do we measure? So what they did is this, suppose I draw a line here. What mathematicians have done is they choose 2 points of this line, any point. There is no specification. You choose a point A and B. Wherever you want, you choose from the line. Then what they did is they consider this as a coordinate plane. They draw a line perpendicular to x-axis. And from other point they draw a line parallel to x-axis. So perpendicular to x-axis, parallel to x-axis. Now what did you get? You understand that there you got a right angle triangle. They are intersecting, right angle triangle shape. And then they consider this length. This length they called as rise. And this length, this, let me choose this point as O or something. This they called as run. So AO is run, OB is rise. Now they choose another 2 points. You choose another 2 points and you find this rise and run. Any 2 points you choose and find the rise and run. You will understand this rise divided by run. Rise and run the length may change, but the ratio rise divided by run will remain same for the straight line. That is what they consider as the slope. Slope, we use the letter M. M is equal to rise by run. Isn't it beautiful? When you make a stairs to climb up, you will see this kind of a structure under the stairs. A rise and run. Okay, anyway, this is the criteria. Now, we cannot go under every line and check this rise and run. There is a method using coordinate geometry. If I know this point A as x1, y1 and this point B as x2, y2, now you will understand with respect to an x-axis and y-axis, this distance, this run and this rise can be calculated with respect to x-axis and y-axis. I will say this AO will be what? AO from origin this much distance is x2. From origin this distance is x1. So this is x2 minus x1. See, from here x2 up to this x1. So from x2 you remove this x1, you get this distance. And what about BO? BO will be similarly from here to here it's y2. From here to here it's y1. So you remove this y1 part parallelly here. So you will get this. So that is nothing but y2 minus y1. So we are going to change like this slope. If we know 2 points, that is nothing but y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. If you want, you can write y1 minus y2 by x1 minus x2. That's okay. For example, if I get a point 3, 2 and 5, 7 from a line, if a line contains these 2 points, then if you ask me what is a slope, slope is nothing but you subtract the y coordinates. 2 minus 7, that is minus 5. 3 minus 5 minus 2, that is 5 by 2. You can do the other way also. 7 minus 2, 5 directly. 5 minus 3, 2. So 5 by 2 is the slope. So this is how we find the slope of a line. Now I am going to take some particular cases. Then I will tell the types of slopes. What are those particular cases? Let us see this one. See, I have drawn here x-axis and y-axis. So x-axis and y-axis. What do you think about the x-axis parallel line? A line parallel to x-axis or the x-axis itself. Can you make a rise and run here? You will have only run. There is no rise. The rise will be 0. So slope m will be, the rise is 0. So 0 by only run. Run can be any length. Any length. Any length you say. That is run. So that will be 0. From there, here what do I say? X-axis or any line parallel to x-axis, or in another way, any horizontal line slope is 0. What do we think about this vertical line? Vertical line have only rise, no run. So there the slope will become, for this one, the slope will be the rise divided by run is 0. So it looks like infinity. It looks like infinity or undefined. So we say the slope of the y-axis is undefined. Okay, there are two types of slopes. Horizontal line slope is 0. Vertical line slopes are undefined or 1 by 0 of slope. And the slopes that will be looking like this will be, if you calculate, it will be positive. Whereas any line which passes through the second quadrant and fourth quadrant, this type of a line, if you calculate, you will get a negative slope. So you will have 0 slope, positive slope, undefined slope, then negative slope. So when you view a line itself, you may be able to recognize that. But we don't have to do any such circus. We will have some kind of information about the line. From there, you will be able to find out the types of slope a line will have. Now, some other aspects related to this is about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. What do we think about parallel lines and perpendicular lines? If you ask me, the simple answer is, if two lines are parallel, their slopes will be equal. The slopes of two parallel lines will be always equal. Similarly, the perpendicular lines, product of their slopes will be negative 1. Just you understand that. So, using that, I will say, if M1 is equal to M2, if it corresponds to lines L1 and L2, which implies L1 will be parallel to L2. If L1 is the slope of, M1 is the slope of L1 and M2 is the slope of L2, this is implies and implied by. If both are parallel, slopes are equal. If slopes are equal, lines are parallel. And therefore, and the second thing, if lines are perpendicular, the product of their slopes, M1 into M2 will be negative 1. So, a parallel line slope, you can take the same slope with the other parallel line. And perpendicular, if 2 by 3 is the slope of one line, the other line's slope will become minus 3 by 2. You just flip it and change to the opposite side. So that when you multiply, you will get negative 1. Cancelled, negative 1. So that's how you will fix the parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Now, other thing that I am making a quick review of the whole thing so that we can work out the problems related to that. If you have difficulty with any questions, kindly comment, I will work it out for you. Okay. Now, another thing is, see, we studied in class 10 about equation of a line. How did we write? We said linear equation like 2x plus 3y equal to 7 or minus 7 equal to 0. This we can write ax plus by plus c equal to 0. This is called the general form of a line. The general equation, general form of a line is this one, ax plus by plus c equal to 0. Not only this, there are many other forms that we can make with the help of slope and some other aspects that we are going to discuss. So that is what I am going to speak now. The forms, the different forms of line. Simple way I will start. This is what the simple way. You see, if you take a line, suppose you know a point x1 and y1. You know a point, that means it's something like a 2, 7. And you know the slope of this line. Suppose slope of this line is 3. Slope of this line is 3. Somebody is giving you the slope and a point on the line. I will call in general it is m. M may be 3 or 4, whatever it is. So x1, y1 is a given point. M is also a given point. So 3. And I can choose a general point x comma y. In all the equations you should understand x comma y is a general point. General point means it is not going to immediately receive any value. It will stay as it is. But x1 and y1 will be taking like a 2 and 7 and m as 3. They are particular points, known points. If you ask me to write the slope, how do I write the slope? I will write m is equal to what? We can write y minus y1 by x minus x1. We know subtract the y coordinates divided by subtract the x coordinates. That will be slopes of they are equal. I simply want to cross multiply. So what do you get? Y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. This is called a point slope form. This is called a point slope form of a line, where m represents the slope of the line, x1, y1 is known point. Let us write the equation of this line. See, if I write here, I will write y minus 7 is equal to m. M is 3 into x minus 2. So that is how I fix the equation. This is called a point slope form. Let us take this conveniently as the first form, point slope form. Now I want to add with this, let me keep this one here, point slope form. I will write one more form with the help of this. Suppose I do not know this slope. Suppose I do not know the slope. Instead I know one more point, x2, y2. x2, y2. I do not know slope, but instead I know x2, y2. Now how do I write the equation of the line? I am going to restructure this one. What I do is, m I do not know, but m I am going to find from these known points. What will be m? M will be y1 minus y2 by x1 minus x2. That I will replace it here. So I will get this next form, y minus y1 is equal to, in the place of m, what do I write? y1 minus y2 by x1 minus x2 into x minus x1. That is this. This point is called a 2-point form. Practically, when you work out, it will be looking like both will be almost same only. Because this value, this will become a single number. Here also you will find a single number. But the process of going through will be like this. You find with the known points slope and put it over here. But we may call it as 2-point form. Okay. Now another very important form I will tell, that is the slope intercept form. Before that you should know what is the meaning of this intercept. Okay, what do you mean by intercept? Intercept means something which blocks, comes across like that. That's what intercept is. So when you draw a line in a coordinate plane, this line can meet x and y axis at different points. The point at which a line meets x axis is called x-intercept. X-intercept will look like x comma 0 or x1 comma 0. And the point where the line meets y axis, that point we will say, let us say y1. This is called y-intercept. As a point form when you write, you will write 0, comma y1. So what do you mean by x-intercept? What do you mean by y-intercept? It is nothing but it is a point where the line meets x-axis. If the line meets x-axis at 5, so I will say 5 is the x-intercept. The line meets y-axis at 7, 7 is the y-intercept. Okay, now let us come back to our next form, that is called slope-intercept form. What is this slope-intercept form? It's an equation of line. That's the third form which we are going to discuss. Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, what we do is we will write it from a general equation, or we can write it from a figure also. You see, I have this one. Let me take this figure itself. This figure I will take. Suppose this line meets y-axis at 0, comma c, and somebody say the slope of this line is m. The slope of the line is m, and a known point is 0, comma c. That is nothing but the y-intercept also, the point where the line meets y-axis. How do I write the equation of the line? I use that first form. What is that? Point slope form. Point slope form. So y minus y1. What is that? Y minus y1. Y1 is what? C is equal to m into slope into x minus x1. x1 is 0. If you modify and write, I can write y is equal to m into x, mx. This is 0, then minus c when I take to that side, plus c. This is called slope-intercept form. Why do we study this slope-intercept form? A general equation, if you convert into slope-intercept form, you can easily find the slope of the line. I will tell you an example, then you will understand the benefit of this form. Suppose somebody say 2x plus 3y is equal to 1. They are asking me find the slope of this line. What is the method? Can you make a rise by run? y1 minus y2 by x1 minus x2. That formula doesn't work. I'll tell you the easiest way. You convert this equation into this form. What do you mean by converting this into this form? You should isolate this y in one side with its coefficient as 1 plus 1. That work alone you do. Then on the other side, what is the x coefficient? That will be your slope. The constant will be your y-intercept. Two things you can bring out. Okay, I am going to write. So I will write this first step. 3y is equal to minus 2x plus 1 and transposing. This you know. So y is equal to minus 2 by 3x plus 1 by 3. All through I divide by 3. Now you know what is the slope? The slope is minus 2 by 3. If they did not ask, if they ask, this is the y-intercept. So this line will meet y-axis at 0, 1 by 3. And the slope of the line is minus 2 by 3. That's the biggest benefit of this form, slope-intercept. I'll tell now purely intercept form. Now I'm going to tell intercept form. So when you take x-axis and y-axis, I draw a line. Suppose I know the x-intercept. Let me take a comma 0. I know the y-intercept 0 comma b. Now what will be the style of equation? This is a 2-point form, right? 2-point form means you can find slope. What is slope? What is slope? Slope is y1 minus y2. So b minus 0 by 0 minus a. The same order you have to subtract. So that is minus b by a. Now you choose any point. Let me choose this as x1 by 1. So I will write y minus y1 is equal to m. M is minus b by a into x minus a. Okay. Now what I do is I will cross multiply. So I will get ay is equal to minus bx plus ab. then I'll write this as bx plus ay is equal to ab. Divide this equation by ab. When you divide, what you get? B cancel, you get a. Here a cancel, y by b. Here ab will become ab by ab 1. Don't worry about this derivation. Even if you do not know, remember this form. This is the intercept form. So if you write a given line, a general equation in intercept form, you can easily find out where the line meets x-axis and y-axis. I'll show an example, then it will become clear. See, I write simply one equation. 3x minus 2y equal to 5. Simply I want to find where it meets x-axis and y-axis. You can put x equal to 0, you will get where it will meet y-axis. Put y is 0, you can do. But I am telling in this form, how do we write? What I should do is, my aim is to make this one 1 first. First step, make this one 1. Then x and y coefficient should be plus 1. That you should make sure. To make this one, I divide by 5. So I will get 3x by 5 minus 2 by 5 y equal to 1. One job over. I made 1. Now I want x coefficient 1. So I will write this as x by 5 by 3. Okay. Now I want plus here because the form is this. So plus y should be positive 1 by 5 minus 5 by 2 is equal to 1. This is the slope intercept. Now I'll say the x-axis, sorry, the line meets x-axis at 5 by 3 and y-axis at minus 5 by 2. So that is the benefit of this form of equation. What? The intercept form. This is called intercept form. There is a normal form and all which is meant for science students. For applied math students, this much will be enough. As a first part, I will stop it here. We have to do problems related to that. I will speak about the remaining conics part also, similar fashion. That topic, that will be helpful. So at least you remember this much. You will be I'll tell two more things. That is about distance between parallel lines and distance between a point and a line. That is also there. In straight line part, I'll say, see, I have a line here. I have a point. What is the distance between this point and this line? Distance between this point and this line. Then you may think, what kind of a question is this? This is a distance. Is somebody draw like this? This is another distance. This is another distance. This is another distance. So many distances are there. Not like that. We mean by distance the perpendicular distance. You must you be remembering in 9th standard you studied of all the lines that can be dropped from a point to a line, the perpendicular is the shortest. Yes, that's what we mean by. So we have a line here and a point. How do I find the shortest distance? This distance, how do I find? For that I ask two things. One is the equation of the line. Suppose the equation of the line is ax plus by plus c equal to 0. I'll tell an example also. This point is suppose x1, y1. So distance will be, what you need to do, substitute this x1, y1 in this equation. So you'll get a, in the place of x I'll put x1, in the place of y I'll put y1 plus c. This you calculate, it may be negative, so you put a modulus sign. If it is negative, remove modulus sign. That's all the idea of this modulus sign. Divide by root of a square, the coefficient of x, coefficient of y. This is what it is. I'll tell an example. Suppose this is 2x plus 3y plus equal to 4 or minus 4 equal to 0. This is the point 1, 2. So the distance will be 2 into 1 plus 3 into 2 minus 4 modulus divided by root of 2 square plus 3 square. So this will become 2 into 1 2. This is 6. 6 plus 2 8. 8 minus 4 4. So that is already positive. Divided by 2 square is 4. This is 9. So 13. Root 13. This will be the distance. This is how you find distance between a point and a line. Point and a line. I'll tell one more thing, the distance between two parallel lines. Distance between parallel lines. Distance between parallel lines. Okay, this line, you may think, why am I speaking only distance between parallel lines? I'll tell you the reason. Intersecting lines, you cannot find the distance. You can find distances, but it changes from point to point. So there is no meaning in speaking about the intersecting lines. So mathematics define the distance between them is 0 because they intersect. The shortest distance is 0. They intersect. So we know that in a plane we can have only intersecting lines or parallel lines. Coincident and all, it is hypothetically it's same only. There is no need of speaking coincident line. Anyway, it's 0 only. They are intersecting only after all. So this, how do we find the distance? I want for this the equations. What I do is, I'll write as an example, this, suppose this is ax plus by plus c1 equal to 0. Ax plus by plus c2 equal to 0. X and y coefficient will be equal. If they are not equal, you can make them equal. You have to make them equal. Only then you can apply this formula. I'll tell an example. Then you will understand. Let me first tell you the formula. Formula is distance is equal to modulus. Again modulus will come. You subtract c1 minus c2. Or you can write c2 minus c1. That's up to you. Divided by, like previous. This is the formula. I'll tell you an example. Suppose this is 2x plus 3y plus 1 equal to 0. This is 4x plus 6y minus 3 equal to 0. Now, before you take C1 and C2, you make sure that these x coefficients are equal. If they are not equal, make them equal. How do you make them equal? This is 4 and 6. I can make this 4 and 6 by multiplying a 2 with this equation. That is easy than dividing. So I multiply this by 2. So I will get a 4x plus 6y plus 2 equal to 0. Now I will choose these two equations. Then I will write distance is equal to C1 minus C2. What is 2 minus 3. This you have to consider as minus 3. Divided. So its modulus divided by root of a square. A is now this equal one. 4 square plus 6 square. So this will become 5 divided by root of 16 plus 36. Right. That is what? 16 plus 36. It will be 52. This much area if you cover, that will be fine for straight lines. Okay, thank you.